the 10 most mysterious animals discussed in the Quran. Within the Holy Quran's rich narrative landscape, stories that blend the mystical with the miraculous offer profound insights and guidance. These tales, featuring 10 extraordinary creatures, invite believers to explore profound spiritual truths and the infinite wisdom of the Creator. Today we will talk about the 10 most mysterious animals that are discussed in the Quran. Watch till the end, because the last one will definitely surprise you. Number 1. Al-Buraq, the celestial steed. In the vast spiritual landscape of the Quran, the story of Al-Buraq emerges as a particularly enchanting narrative, rich with mystical layers and significant theological implications. Al-Buraq, a celestial creature that served as the Prophet Muhammad's mount on his journey through the heavens, embodies a link between the earthly and the divine, highlighting the depth of Islamic cosmology and the potential for human spiritual ascension. Al-Buraq is most famously associated with the night of Isra and Mi'raj, a miraculous event in Islamic history where the Prophet Muhammad was transported from Mecca to Jerusalem and then through the various heavens, culminating in his meeting with Allah. This journey underscores the closeness between the divine and the Prophet, facilitated by Al-Buraq, a being that transcends earthly limitations. Al-Buraq is described in Islamic tradition as an extraordinary creature, surpassing all earthly animals in beauty and capability. Its name, possibly derived from bark, the Arabic word for lightning, emphasizes the speed with which it can travel across vast distances of the universe, almost instantaneously. This steed, white and radiant, symbolizes not only purity, but also the spiritual enlightenment that comes with divine proximity. Physically, Al-Buraq is said to be larger than a donkey but smaller than a mule. Its face glows with a light that some say is like that of the moon, reflecting its divine origin and purpose. The wings of Al-Buraq, attached to its sides, enable it to navigate the celestial realm, embodying the power and majesty of its flight. On the night of Isra and Mi'raj, Al-Buraq played a crucial role as the vehicle through which the Prophet Muhammad transcended the physical world. The journey began at the Kaaba, where the Archangel Gabriel presented Al-Buraq to the Prophet. Mounting Al-Buraq, the Prophet traveled to the farthest mosque, believed to be Al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, where he led other prophets in prayer. After this, the ascent through the heavens began, marking the Mi'raj portion of the journey. Each heaven presented its own wonders and inhabitants, with Al-Buraq serving as a steady and swift conveyance through these realms. This ascent was not just a journey through space, but also a progression through various levels of spiritual enlightenment, with Al-Buraq facilitating the Prophet's direct communication with Allah. Al-Buraq's journey with the Prophet is laden with symbolic meaning. It represents the potential for spiritual elevation when guided by divine grace. The creature's ability to traverse the heavens at incredible speed symbolizes the breaking of temporal and spatial bounds through spiritual pursuit. Moreover, the story of Al-Buraq emphasizes the importance of the night of Isra and Mi'raj in Islamic teachings, a moment that highlights the deep connection between the Prophet Muhammad and the divine, and the role of intermediaries, like Al-Buraq, in such sacred narratives. The legacy of Al-Buraq resonates through Islamic art and culture, often depicted in miniatures and literature as a creature of great beauty and power. Its depiction in Islamic art often includes a blend of various animal features, illustrating the mystical nature of Al-Buraq. In contemporary discourse, Al-Buraq continues to inspire Muslims by symbolizing the journey towards spiritual perfection and the closeness one can achieve with God through faith and righteousness. The narrative encourages believers to seek their own spiritual journeys and to strive for a closer connection with the divine. Al-Buraq stands as a profound symbol within the Islamic tradition, representing the ultimate journey of spiritual ascension and divine proximity. Its story not only enriches the religious tapestry of Islam, but also offers a metaphor for the spiritual journey that each believer is called to undertake. Through the narrative of Al-Buraq, the faithful are reminded of the possibilities that await when one embarks on a journey guided by divine light and protection. Number 2. The Talking Fox of Moses. In the annals of religious texts, the Quran presents a unique blend of historical narration and spiritual guidance. Among these stories, the tale of a talking fox encountered by Prophet Moses offers a remarkable example of divine communication and wisdom, manifesting through unexpected mediums. This narrative not only captures the essence of mystical encounters, but also conveys deep spiritual truths and lessons. Prophet Moses, one of the most central figures in Islamic theology, is known for his profound leadership and his pivotal role in guiding the Israelites out of Egypt. His journey was fraught with challenges, both from his own people and from external threats. It was during one of his reflective moments, while he was grappling with the immense responsibilities bestowed upon him, that he encountered the talking fox. While traversing a desert, deep in contemplation about his mission and the stubbornness of his people, Moses was approached by a fox. This was no ordinary fox. It was endowed with the ability to speak, a miracle in itself meant to capture Moses' attention and to deliver a message of significance. The fox, with eyes glinting with an otherworldly intelligence, addressed Moses directly, calling him by name and engaging in a profound dialogue. The fox questioned Moses on the burdens he carried in his heart, prompting a dialogue about the nature of prophetic duties and the human conditions of doubt and perseverance. Moses, initially startled by this encounter, found himself drawn into a conversation that explored themes of leadership, faith, and the transient nature of worldly troubles. The fox, wise beyond ordinary natural understanding, spoke of the impermanence of worldly struggles and the eternal nature of divine truth. It advised Moses to view his challenges as opportunities for growth and reminders of God's omnipresence and support. This message was not just for Moses, but serves as a lesson for all believers about the importance of perspective and the unseen help that God provides. In many cultures, the fox is often seen as a cunning and deceptive creature. However, in this Quranic narrative, the fox is reimagined as a vessel of wisdom and divine communication. This inversion of typical symbolism highlights a recurring theme in Islamic teachings, that God can use any of his creations to fulfill his divine will and communicate his messages to humanity. The talking aspect of the fox emphasizes the miraculous nature of God's interventions and communications. It serves as a reminder that divine messages can come from the most unexpected sources, and that openness to receiving guidance is crucial in the spiritual journey. The story of the talking fox in the context of Moses' mission is particularly impactful for believers, as it underscores several key aspects of faith. Divine support. It reminds the faithful that God is always watching and supporting his followers through their trials, often in ways that might not be immediately apparent. Wisdom in creation. It highlights the wisdom imbued in all of God's creations, encouraging believers to seek lessons and signs of divine presence in everyday encounters. Openness to guidance. The narrative teaches the importance of being open to guidance in various forms, advocating for a reflective and receptive approach to divine signs. The tale of the talking fox is a poignant addition to the spiritual narratives found in the Quran, offering rich theological insights and practical lessons in faith. For followers of Islam, stories like these are not just historical recounts but are living lessons that resonate with personal and communal experiences of faith, perseverance, and divine interaction. The narrative invites believers to listen and learn from all of God's creations, reinforcing the idea that guidance and wisdom often come from the most unexpected places. Number 3. The Whale of Jonah. Among the narratives of prophets in the Quran, the story of Prophet Jonah and the whale stands as a vivid illustration of God's mercy, patience, and the transformative power of repentance. This tale delves deep into the themes of human fallibility, divine intervention, and the path to redemption, offering profound insights into the relationship between Creator and creation. Prophet Jonah was tasked with guiding the people of Nineveh, who had strayed from the path of righteousness. Despite his efforts, the overwhelming challenge and the initial rejection from the people led Jonah to flee in despair, hoping perhaps to escape the burden of his prophetic mission. This decision marked a pivotal moment, not just in his life, but as a lesson in the responsibilities of a prophet. As Jonah set sail away from his mission, a fierce storm threatened the safety of his vessel and all aboard. The tumultuous sea was seen not just as a natural occurrence, but as a divine sign, prompting those aboard to seek out the cause of their misfortune. Jonah, recognizing his flight as the reason for their peril, volunteered to be thrown overboard, an act that symbolized his submission to God's will. Upon being cast into the sea, Jonah was swallowed by a great whale, appointed by God not as a punishment, but as a sanctuary of reflection and repentance. This swallowing by the whale is central to understanding the depth of divine mercy. The whale, a creature of God, became the means not for Jonah's destruction, but for his salvation. The belly of the whale represents a profound isolation from the world, a literal and metaphorical immersion into the depths. Here, Jonah, stripped of all distractions, engaged in deep reflection, and turned to prayer. His prayer, filled with humility and recognition of his failings, echoed within the confines of the whale, reaching the heavens. He acknowledged his desperation and his need for God's mercy, which is a powerful moment of submission and faith. This part of Jonah's story underscores the concept that no place is too remote or situation too dire for God's mercy to reach. It illustrates that repentance can profoundly change the course of events, transforming what seems like an end into a new beginning. After 3 days and nights, the whale, following God's command, released Jonah onto dry land, reborn in his spiritual commitment. This release was not just a physical return to the world, but also a symbolic rebirth of Jonah's prophetic mission. He returned to Nineveh with renewed vigor and determination, subsequently leading his people to a mass repentance and salvation. The whale in Jonah's story is much more than a character. It is a symbol of divine intervention and the depth of God's engagement with his creations. It challenges the notion of punishment, reframing it as an opportunity for growth and enlightenment. The narrative encourages believers to understand that divine tests are not merely punitive, but are designed to bring out the best in the human spirit, to refine and redirect us towards our true purpose. The story also resonates with the theme of hope. It teaches that no one is beyond redemption, and that sincere repentance can alter one's destiny. It reaffirms God's overarching compassion and readiness to forgive, encouraging believers to always turn towards Him, regardless of their past missteps. The story of Jonah and the whale is a timeless reminder of the endless depths of divine mercy and the transformative power of repentance. It serves as a beacon of hope for those who feel lost, providing a clear message. Redemption is always within reach, and God's guidance is just a sincere prayer away. This narrative invites believers to persist in their faith, embrace their divine missions, and remember that with God, even the depths of despair can become a sanctuary of salvation. Chapter 4. The Golden Calf. The story of the golden calf is one of the most poignant in the Quran, resonating with deep theological and moral lessons about the dangers of idolatry and the frailty of human faith. This narrative unfolds during a critical period of transition for the children of Israel, who, having been led out of Egypt by Prophet Moses, faced the challenge of sustaining their faith in the absence of their leader. After freeing the Israelites from Egyptian bondage, Moses left his people temporarily to receive the tablets of law on Mount Sinai. In his absence, a sense of uncertainty and impatience began to stir among the people. Their faith, unfortified by Moses' immediate presence, wavered, leading them to seek comfort in something tangible. It was under these circumstances that the golden calf was crafted. Influenced by a rebellious few, the Israelites melted down their golden jewelry, gifts from God intended to symbolize their deliverance, and fashioned them into an idol. This calf, a representation of the deities of Egypt from which they had been freed, was a regression into old familiar ways, highlighting the human tendency to revert to tangible symbols of security during times of uncertainty. The worship of the golden calf is significant, symbolizing more than just a lapse into idol worship. It represents a profound spiritual crisis, a failure to trust in the unseen but omnipresent God who had demonstrated his power and mercy repeatedly. The calf, gleaming in the desert sun, became a focal point of collective amnesia about divine deliverance, embodying the allure of physical manifestations of deity over spiritual faith. This episode serves as a cautionary tale about the ease with which faith can be corrupted by the allure of materialism and visible representations. It underscores the vulnerability of faith in the absence of constant vigilance and spiritual leadership. Moses' return to find his people worshiping the golden calf is a dramatic and defining moment. The sight of the Israelites dancing around the idol filled him with righteous indignation. He threw down the tablets of law, symbolizing the broken covenant between the Israelites and God. His reaction was not merely anger, but profound disappointment at his people's failure to uphold their faith in God's unseen presence. The destruction of the golden calf by Moses is symbolic, representing a necessary act of renunciation of idolatry and a call to repentance. This event forced the Israelites to confront the consequences of their actions and the depth of their spiritual deviation. The story of the golden calf is rich with lessons on the nature of faith and the dangers of idolatry, whether literal or metaphorical. In contemporary terms, idolatry can manifest through an obsession with material wealth, power, or other worldly distractions that lead individuals away from spiritual commitments. This narrative reminds believers of the importance of steadfastness in faith and the dangers of straying into symbolic idolatries that can detract from a true understanding and worship of God. It calls for a continuous commitment to spiritual values over material or visual temptations, reinforcing the principle that true worship must be directed toward God alone, transcending physical forms. The story of the golden calf remains a powerful allegory for the perpetual struggle between faith and doubt, the seen and the unseen, and the divine and the worldly. It serves as a reminder of the fragility of human faith and the constant need for spiritual vigilance and integrity. Through this narrative, the Quran teaches that the path of righteousness requires continual renewal of faith and commitment to the divine commandments, urging believers to look beyond the physical and to anchor their spirits in the enduring truth of God's sovereignty. Number 5. The Ants of Solomon. The story of Solomon and the ants in the Quran encapsulates profound themes of leadership, communication, and the intrinsic value of all creatures in God's creation. Solomon, known for his wisdom and the unique gift of understanding the languages of animals, encounters an ant that significantly influences his perspective and reinforces the Quranic message of humility and mindfulness. King Solomon's reign is noted for its prosperity and justice, but also for the miraculous nature of his communication with animals. This ability granted by God was not merely a sign of sovereignty over his kingdom, but also served to symbolize the universal language of compassion and understanding that transcends species. On one occasion, as Solomon marshaled his army across a valley, he overheard a conversation among ants. One ant, wise and observant, alerted its fellows to retreat to their nests to avoid being crushed by Solomon's approaching army. This incident, though seemingly minor, highlights several layers of moral and ethical teachings. The ant's warning is a testament to its foresight and concern for its community, qualities that Solomon, despite his grandeur, recognized and admired. His reaction to the ant's words was one of introspection and gratitude. Solomon was moved by the ant's consideration and the fact that even the smallest creatures were imbued with wisdom and care for their society. This story is a powerful reminder to those in positions of power about the importance of humility and the need to consider all forms of life. Solomon's ability to hear and appreciate the ant's warning exemplifies ideal leadership, one that listens to even the most seemingly insignificant voices. The incident also underscores the importance of effective communication and its role in governance and protection. Solomon's interaction with the ant teaches that understanding and dialogue can avert harm and foster a sense of community and mutual respect across different realms of life. The story encourages believers to listen attentively to all of God's creatures, recognizing that wisdom does not belong exclusively to the powerful or the prominent. It advocates for a broader understanding of communication as an essential tool in maintaining harmony and safety within the ecosystem. In today's context, the narrative serves as an ecological parable, urging humans to pay attention to the environment and the smaller beings that inhabit it. It highlights the balance of nature and the role humans play within it, promoting a stewardship that is aware of and responsive to the natural world. Number 6. The Ostrich, El-Nud. The story of the ostrich, known in Islamic tradition as El-Nud, is woven into the fabric of Quranic teachings to illustrate themes of adaptation, survival, and the nuanced power of the Creator in designing creatures perfectly suited to their environments. El-Nud, the ostrich, roams the vast and harsh landscapes of the desert, a setting that demands resilience and unique adaptations. Unlike other birds, the ostrich does not fly. It is earthbound, relying on its incredible speed and powerful legs to navigate the challenges of its environment. This inability to fly does not signify a lack of grace or capability, but rather underscores the ostrich's perfect adaptation to its ecological niche. The ostrich's life in the desert is emblematic of survival and adaptation. It lays its eggs in the sand, utilizing the natural warmth of its environment to incubate them. This behavior can be seen as a metaphor for resurrection and life emerging from seemingly barren circumstances, reflecting the Quranic theme of life persisting through divine will even in the most inhospitable conditions. El-Nud's survival strategies, its speed to escape predators, and its method of nurturing life in the desert highlight the divine wisdom in creating each creature with the traits necessary to thrive in its specific context. This serves as a reminder of the balance and harmony inherent in God's creation, and the importance of each creature's role within this grand design. The ostrich's presence in the Quranic narrative invites reflection on the themes of contentment and finding one's place in the world. Just as the ostrich utilizes its strengths to survive and flourish, humans are encouraged to recognize and use their God-given abilities to fulfill their potential and responsibilities. Moreover, the story of El Nud in the desert serves as a parable for resilience and resourcefulness. It teaches that in the face of life's challenges, one should adapt, using the tools and strengths at their disposal to overcome adversity and thrive. For modern believers, the story of the ostrich in the Quran goes beyond the historical or ecological context. It is a narrative about embracing one's circumstances and making the most out of them. It encourages an attitude of resilience and innovation, urging individuals to navigate the challenges of life with faith and determination. Together, these narratives from the Quran about Solomon and the ants, and the ostrich in its desert realm, enrich the spiritual and moral landscape of Islamic teaching. They provide timeless lessons on leadership, communication, humility, and the deep symbiosis between all forms of life, emphasizing a comprehensive understanding of the natural world and our place within it. Number 7. The Zebra of Thamud. In the annals of prophetic narratives, the story involving the zebra and Prophet Salih is a profound illustration of the trials of faith and the consequences of disbelief. Prophet Salih was sent to the people of Thamud, who were known for their architectural prowess, but were also deeply steeped in arrogance and idolatry. The miraculous appearance of a zebra from a rock served as a divine test and a sign aimed at guiding the people back to righteousness. Prophet Salih was tasked with guiding the Thamud, a community that had fallen into moral decay despite their advanced societal and architectural achievements. Their transgressions included arrogance, materialism, and a dismissal of spiritual truths. Salih's mission was to awaken their consciousness to the omnipotence of God and steer them away from their corrupt practices. The zebra in this narrative was no ordinary creature. As a living miracle, it was brought forth from the mountainside by the command of God, responding to the Thamud's demand for a sign of Salih's prophethood. The appearance of the zebra was meant to be a clear and unmistakable sign of divine power and authority. Its unique stripes and striking presence were designed to capture the attention of the Thamud and to challenge their skepticism and disbelief. The zebra was not only a sign but also a test of the moral and spiritual integrity of the Thamud. Prophet Salih instructed them to take care of the zebra and not to harm it, setting a condition that would prove their willingness to submit to divine will. However, the response of the Thamud was one of further disbelief and defiance, culminating in the tragic decision to harm the animal, thus sealing their fate. The killing of the zebra triggered the downfall of Thamud. This act of defiance against a clear sign of God's command was met with divine retribution, which serves as a lesson on the consequences of arrogance and the rejection of divine signs. The narrative emphasizes that divine tests, while an opportunity for redemption, can also lead to severe consequences if failed. The story of the zebra and the Thamud resonates with themes of responsibility and the respect for the signs of God in all forms. It serves as a warning against the dangers of arrogance and the importance of humility before the divine. For contemporary believers, this narrative is a reminder of the need to recognize and respect divine signs and to maintain integrity in the face of tests of faith. Number 8. The birds of Ab Babel. The narrative involving the birds of Ab Babel is one of divine intervention and miraculous deliverance, highlighting the theme that God's protection can manifest in the most unexpected and miraculous ways. This story centers around a flock of small birds, the Ab Babel, which God used to protect the Kaaba from an invading army. Their role in this narrative underscores the principle that victory and protection are not matters of strength or numbers but of divine support. The historical context of this narrative involves an army, led by a tyrant named Abraha, marching towards Mecca with the intent to destroy the Kaaba, the sacred house of worship. The looming destruction posed not only a physical threat, but also a profound spiritual crisis for the believers. As the army approached, God sent the Ab Babel birds as instruments of divine wrath. These birds, small and seemingly insignificant, were each carrying 3 stones, 1 in their beak and 2 in their talons. The precision and coordination with which these stones were dropped upon the advancing army underscore the miraculous nature of this intervention. The stones carried by the Ab Babel birds struck with such accuracy and force that they decimated the army, turning what seemed like an inevitable conquest into a miraculous victory for the defenders of the Kaaba. This event is celebrated as a testament to God's protection over his sacred sites and his ability to use the least expected means for his purposes. The story of the Ab Babel birds is laden with symbolic meaning. It demonstrates that the true protector in any situation is God, and that he can deploy any part of his creation to fulfill his divine will. The narrative reinforces the idea that protection and victory come from divine support, not merely human strength or strategies. For modern believers, the story serves as a powerful reminder of the omnipotence of God and the importance of faith in divine protection. It also highlights the notion that no enemy, no matter how powerful, can prevail against the decree of God. This story encourages believers to place their trust in divine plans and to recognize that help can come from the most unexpected sources. Number 9. The wolf in Joseph's story. In the Quranic account of Joseph, the wolf plays a pivotal yet allegorical role, symbolizing deceit and the human capacity for betrayal and redemption. This narrative unfolds as part of a broader saga that includes envy, conspiracy, and divine providence, emphasizing the intricate ways God's plans manifest to guide human fate towards a moral and just resolution. Joseph, one of the 12 sons of Jacob, was distinguished early on by his prophetic dreams, which foretold his future rise to power and influence. These visions, however, sparked jealousy and malice among his brothers, who felt overshadowed and neglected by their father's apparent favoritism towards Joseph. Driven by envy, Joseph's brothers hatched a plot to rid themselves of him, deciding to throw him into a well and deceive their father by claiming that a wolf had devoured him. They stained Joseph's shirt with fake blood and presented it to Jacob as evidence of their claim, exploiting the image of the wolf as a symbol of danger and predation to lend credence to their lie. Jacob, stricken with grief yet skeptical of the story, remarked on the neatness of the shirt, which contradicted the violent nature of the supposed attack. His doubt hinted at a deeper understanding of his son's characters, and perhaps a faint premonition of the truth. Nonetheless, he turned to patience and faith, trusting that God would eventually unveil the reality. Meanwhile, Joseph's journey through hardship began with his abandonment in the well, leading to his eventual rescue and subsequent rise to power in Egypt. His trials, from slavery to imprisonment, shaped his character, honed his abilities, and prepared him for the role he would later play in saving Egypt and his own family from famine. The climax of Joseph's story is not merely his ascension to power, but his magnanimous forgiveness of his brothers when they unknowingly came to him seeking aid during a famine. This reunion is marked by Joseph's revelation of his identity and his insightful understanding of the divine purpose behind his trials. In this narrative, the wolf is more than just a fabricated element of a deceitful tale. It symbolizes the darker human instincts, envy, deceit, and cowardice, but also serves as a contrast to the virtues of forgiveness, patience, and divine guidance exhibited by Joseph and Jacob. The wolf, though a lie in the story, inadvertently becomes a catalyst for Joseph's destined path, illustrating how divine wisdom can transform human malice into a narrative of redemption and moral triumph. Number 10. The Dog of the Cave, Ab Babel. The story of the companions of the cave, highlighted in the Quran, features a group of young believers and their dog who seek refuge in a cave from a persecutory ruler. This tale, rich with themes of faith, divine protection, and the passage of time, casts the dog not merely as a companion but as a significant bearer of loyalty and divine mystery. The young men, living under a tyrannical rule that enforced disbelief, chose to escape to preserve their faith. They retreated to a cave with their dog, seeking God's protection from the wrath of their ruler and the corruption of their society. Their story is a testament to the trials of maintaining faith in the face of overwhelming societal pressure. Upon entering the cave, God cast a sleep over them that lasted for centuries, during which time their bodies were preserved from decay, and their faith was shielded from the changing tides of the outside world. This supernatural sleep, a clear sign of divine intervention, symbolizes the timeless nature of true faith and the protective power of God over those who turn to Him. The dog, lying at the mouth of the cave, stretches out its legs in a protective posture, symbolizing vigilance, loyalty, and divine guardianship. Its presence at the entrance not only protected the sleepers from potential intruders, but also served as a sign of God's safeguarding. In Islamic culture, where dogs are often viewed with ambivalence, this dog's role elevates its status to that of a guardian, blessed by divine association. When the youths awoke, they found themselves in a vastly changed world, with their faith intact, and their story becoming a sign of God's promise to preserve and protect His followers. Their reintegration into society, while initially challenging, served as a testament to the enduring power of faith and the miraculous nature of their survival. This story resonates deeply with contemporary themes of resilience in the face of persecution, the importance of community in preserving faith, and the belief in divine justice. It serves as a reminder that divine protection can manifest in various forms, including through a loyal canine, and that faith can withstand the test of time when guarded by divine providence. Together, these narratives from the Quran about Joseph and the companions of the cave deepen the understanding of divine justice, human morality, and the complex interplay between faith, time, and providence, offering enduring lessons for believers navigating the trials of their own lives.